This is part 3 of the study guide, final study guide. We're on number 20, and it says, determine how many real solutions, and the equation given is y equals 3x squared minus 6x minus 2. Now, on part A, they're not telling us to solve it. They're asking you how many solutions. So how can we tell how many solutions? When we covered quadratics towards the end, we came to a part where I said, let's do some predictions before we get to the vertex. You guys remember that? Yeah. And I said, to find out how many real solutions we have in an equation, we use something that we call the discriminant. You guys remember that? And the discriminant that we use is b squared minus 4ac. So we need to write that and substitute values that are given through our equation. So what is b according to our equation? Negative 6, we write that squared, minus 4 times a. What is a? 3. And what is c? Negative 2. Okay. Now that we have that, let's simplify it. Negative 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 3, that's negative 12, bless you. Times negative 2, that's positive 24. So what is 36 plus 24? That's 60. It's a positive number. Do you agree so far? All right, let me draw the little table over here that I gave you guys in regards to number and solutions or roots. If you get a positive number, we get 2 solutions. If you get a negative number, you get no solutions. If you get number 0, you get 1 solution. So what number did we get? 60. What is that? A positive number. So how many solutions are we getting? 2. So I'm just going to write 2 solutions. That's how you do that part. Now some of you left it blank and you went straight to solving the quadratic equation, and then you went back and wrote 2 solutions. No, I want you to understand how to do that without even solving the equation. Okay? Let's go to part B. It says, find the solutions now to that equation. Part B, find the solutions. All right, so let's solve this equation. First step in any quadratic equation is to what? Has set it in standard form equal to what? So this is 0 equals 3x squared minus 6x minus 2. From there, check and see if it has a GCF. Is there a GCF other than 1? No. Therefore, Power Rangers. Da, 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 da. What goes on top? Very good. Negative 6. Why? Because we multiply the 3 times negative 2. What's the middle term? Negative 6. Let's see, the factors of 6 are 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Is there any of those pairs of numbers that gives us negative 6 at the end? As a product and sum? No. So that means it cannot be factored like that. So what other method can we use to solve this? The quadratic formula or completing the square. You can choose either one. I'm going to use a quadratic formula, yeah? All right. Quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus parentheses plus minus square root parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses over 2 parentheses. All right, let me substitute values. B, we said it was what? Negative 6. So that goes here, negative 6 and negative 6. A, we said it was 3. So 3 and 3. And C, which is a constant, and it's negative 2. All right, let's simplify. X equals, what is negative times negative 6? 6. Robert, you're doing this one along with us and everybody, yeah? Good. Square root What is negative 6 squared? 36. Negative 4 times 3, that's negative 12. Times negative 2, that's positive 24. And all that over 3 times 2, or 2 times 3 is 6. All right? Next, x equals 6 plus minus square root of 60 over 6. Now, since this is not a word problem, pay attention to this part. You don't have to find the decimal equivalent of 60. So like that, you don't have to do the two equations at the end. So what does that mean, Mr. Q? That we are done. Solutions. However, what would it look like if I asked you to find the decimal equivalent? You would do what? X of 1, 6 plus square root of 60 over 6, and x of 2, 6 minus square root of 60 over 6. What is square root of 60? I think it's about 7.7. So then you would do that, simplify, divide, and so on and so forth. All right? See how that looks? There you go. And look at that. All I would need is my initials, and then bam. Put that on the shirt. Get some Q merch. Let's go. All right, that was number 20. Let's go to number 21. 21. Copy this on paper, please. Number 21, equation given is y equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. Y equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. It says use that equation to answer the questions below. Part A, what does it say? Write the roots of the equation. What does that mean? Tell your neighbor, please. Yeah, write the solutions, x-intercepts, and so on and so forth. All right, so to get started, what is the first thing we do here? Zachary. Equal to 0. So we do 0 equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. Power Rangers, because there's no GCF, so we do Power Rangers, let's do that over here, 8 and negative 6. So factors of 8, that add up to negative 6, says Seth. Negative 2 and negative 4. All right. So therefore, 0 equals x squared. Instead of the 6, we're going to write negative 2x, negative 4x, and then the last term is plus 8. All right, let's group these two, these two. GCF here is x. We're left with x minus 2. GCF here is negative 4. We're left with x minus 2. All that equals to 0. So my two factors are x minus 2, x minus 4. All that equals to 0. So next step, everyone. You're done with ZPP, yes. X minus 2 equal to 0. X minus 4 equal to 0, and it's solved. Plus 2 plus 2. X equals 2. Plus 4 plus 4. X equals 4. You box them, and what are we going to write here? What are they asking us for? The roots, so you write roots. Okay, let me scroll up. I want you to write part B, and then write vertex. Vertex. So for the vertex means we need to come up with one point. Is that correct? We need an x value and a y value. So, how do we come up with the x value? Who remembers? Okay, Robert, what do I write? Very good. X equals negative b over 2a. All right, let's substitute values. Negative parentheses, 2 parentheses. What was b we said? Negative 6. And a was 1. Okay, so this is 6 divided by 2. Therefore, this is 3. That goes right there. Are we there so far? All right. But now we need a what? A y value. Thomas, how do we find the y value? And they gave us this, and that's it. Victor, help him out. You substitute 3 into the original equation. So let me write the original equation. Y equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. But instead of x, we're going to substitute 3 minus 6 times 3 plus 8. And all that equals to y. So y is equal to 9 minus 18 plus 8. So what is y? I'm sorry, what is 9 minus 18 plus 8, everyone? -1, so that goes right there. And that's my vertex. We're not done there. Because look at the following question in part B. Some of you skipped this. Look up. No, it says, is this a maximum or minimum? Look up, please. Now, some of you answer that after you graphed it. You can answer that before we graph it. Look up to the screen. What kind of equation did they give us? This one right here. Is that correct? Remember when we did predictions and I said, look at the leading coefficient. What is the sign of the leading coefficient? Positive, which means the parabola is a happy face. If it's a happy face, what are we going to call this point right here? Minimum, because it's down there. Imagine a roller coaster. That's the minimum. If it was the other way, it would be the what? Maximum. So this is a minimum. Minimum. All right. Now that we have all our information, we're going to graph this. Be nice. Start with our roots. Our roots are 2, 4. Our vertex is 3, -1. What is our y-intercept, everyone? -8? +8. That is correct. And we get that from the constant on our equation. Now let me zoom into the graph. My roots are 2 and 4. My vertex is 3, -1. My y-intercept is 8. But they're asking us to graph also using an extra point. Okay, so you can draw your line of symmetry if you want. And stretch out a little bit more. There it is. All right. Tell your neighbor the coordinate of the extra point reflected on the other side that's missing. Everyone? So some of you have no idea how we get that. Well, look at the line of symmetry. There's a point on this left side here. There's one point on the other side. There's a point on the left side over here that's 3 steps away. Therefore, there needs to be a point 3 steps away the other way. 1, 2, 3. And what is that coordinate? The y is 8. The x is 6. So the point is 6, 8. Hands if you got that. Okay, good. Is that the only way to find this extra point? No. We saw that if we look at the vertex, what is the x value of the vertex? 3. We double it, and that gives us the x value of the new point, which is 6, and then we just take the y-intercept of the equation. All right, let's graph our parabola. Oh my goodness. Something like that. Yes? Look at that. All right, let's go to number 22. Number 22. Let me zoom in. Copy this equation. X squared minus 6x equals 4. X squared minus 6x equals 4. But for this one, look how they want us to solve. By completing the square. So here, this one, they already did the first 3 steps for us. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. They already did step 1, which is standard form. They already did step 2, divide by the LC. They already did step 3, eliminate the constant. So we are on step 4. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 1 minute. You should be able to finish in 1 minute. Ready, go. I'll pause this in the meantime. All right, here it goes. Next step was to add b over 2 squared to each side. What is b? Negative 6. So we add negative 6 over 2 squared to each side. Negative 6 over 2 squared to each side. So this becomes x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 4 plus 9. Is that correct? Can I simplify the right side? Yes. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 13. Step 5, we're going to factor. And here we can use the Power Rangers. However, we know this is a perfect square, so we just use a shortcut. Square root of the first, x. Square root of the last, 3. Sign of the middle, negative, and that's squared equal to 13. Last but not least, step 6, we do the square root, 2 equations, and solve. However, let's see, square root. Square root, x minus 3 equals plus minus square root of 13. All right, let's solve for x. What do I do here? Plus 3 plus 3, x equals 3 plus minus square root of 13. Question, is this a word problem? No, so we don't need to have the exact decimal equivalent of this one, which means what? That we are done. That is correct. Solutions. Solutions. Yeah, this one shouldn't take you more than a minute, right? Right, Mia? Yeah? Okay, good. Go to number 23, Michael Jordan. Zoom out. All right. All right. Let me zoom into this one. Copy this one. An object is launched 48 feet per second. And there's a typo like I mentioned the other day. Instead of ms, it's feet per second, so it's fs. From a 64-foot tall platform. (48 feet per second) and 64-foot tall. Part A says create a quadratic equation. All right, what's our equation, Mia? Go. Hands, have you got that? Okay, good. Part B. What is the rocket's maximum height? Tell you never what that means. What does that mean, Venus? Very good. The vertex. That means we need an x value and a y value. Didn't we just do one similar to this one? How do we find the vertex, the x value, Robert? X equals negative b over 2a. That is correct. negative parentheses over 2 parentheses. So what is b according to our equation? 48. A is negative 16. So this becomes negative 48 over negative 32. Can we simplify that? Yeah, we can divide by 16 top and bottom, and we get 3 halves. That goes right there. That's our x value, or in this case, we don't have x in the equation, but we have a letter t. So if this is t, tell your neighbor what that means. What does that stand for? Bree, what does that stand for? Time. That is correct. And if we divide 3 by 2, that's 1.5 seconds. Okay. What do we need now? A y value. How do we find the y value, everyone? Substitute into the original equation. So we're going to write the equation again, but instead of t, we write what? 3 over 2. So I'm going to write that here. Y equals negative 16, parentheses, 3 over 2 squared, plus 48 times 3 over 2, plus 64. Y equals negative 16 times, what is 3 squared? 9. What is 2 squared? 4. Plus, what is 48 times 3? 144. Divided that by 2, that gives me 72. Very good. Plus 64. All right. Let me zoom in. Here we go. We got negative 16 over 1 and times 9 over 4. Can I cross simplify this one? Yeah. Divide these 2 by 4, so we're left with negative 4 and 1. So what is negative 4 times 9? Negative 36. Plus, what is 72 plus 64? 136. Therefore, this is what? 100. Let me zoom out. So here it's 100. So, yes. Okay, look up, please, guys. Here's a vertex. 3 halves, 100. Tell your neighbor what this vertex means. What does a vertex mean? CJ. What does a vertex mean? Okay, so the maximum height is 100, so that's our height. But what does this mean? Bam! Let's go from the corner. So it takes the rocket how many seconds to get to 100 feet? 1.5. 1.5. Is that correct? All right. Let's go to part C. When does the object hit the ground? So what does that mean? We need to solve the original equation. So let's write that one here. Y equals negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 64 equal to 0. Negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 64. All right, let's check for GCF. What's our GCF, everyone? Negative 16, we're left with t squared minus 3t minus 4, and all that equals to 0. Power Rangers, we got negative 4 on top, negative 3 on the bottom. Factors of negative 4 that add up to negative 3, 1 and negative 4. So I'm going to rewrite this. T squared plus 1t minus 4t, and then the last term, negative 4, Let's group these two, these two. GCF here is t. We're left with t plus 1. GCF here is negative 4. We're left with t plus 1. So my factors are t plus 1, t minus 4. Bring down the BFF, which is negative 16, equal to 0. Are we done? No. You done with ZPP? Yeah, you know me. So I write negative 16 equal to 0, which is our first factor. And then t plus 1 equal to 0. And then t minus 4 equal to 0. Is this correct? No. No such thing. So we got rid of our BFF. So here we get minus 1, t equals negative 1, plus 4, t equals 4. Are we going to use these two answers? No. Tell your neighbor, why not? Yeah, this t stands for time. We don't count time as negative. We're not in a time machine, so it's no. So how long does it take the object to hit the ground? 4 seconds. And you write here, it takes the rocket 4 seconds to hit the ground. 10 cubed. All right. And the last part. When will the object reach a height of 32 feet? No? So, let me illustrate this situation with a quick sketch. Here it goes. All right over there? All right, here it goes. So the rocket was launched from a platform which is 64 feet. Is that correct? All right, so let's see. So here's 0. 64 feet, let's say it's about right here. So here's a platform. They launch it. All right, so this max height is how many feet, everyone? 100. It reaches the height of 100 feet. Now, how long does it take to reach that 100? So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. It takes it, we said over here, according to the vertex, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. 1.5 is about right here. So it takes 1.5 seconds to get to that height. Does that make sense so far? Yes. Okay, and notice we didn't start from down here because it started from a platform which was already 64 feet above. Are we there? Yes. Next, look at the last question. When will the object reach a height of 32 feet? Well, where did we start at? 64. So 32 is somewhere down here, is that correct? So that means, let's see if I get this right. That means that they want to see when the rocket will reach that height, 32 feet. Right here, is that correct? So that means, what would be the equation for this line? Y equals to what? What was this height we said? 32. Does that make sense? Remember that we did the word problem with the elevator and all that? It's the same thing, similar idea. So the correction from what I did last year in the video, on the original video, to this year is that I'm just trying to make sense out of it to make sure you understand why we're going to do the following. So look, I'm going to go here, and it says, when will the object reach the height of 32 feet? Well, what was the original equation? Let me zoom in. The original equation was y equals negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 64. Is that correct? But we said here on the illustration that I just gave you that they want to know when it hits the what? Y equals what? 32 feet. So which means, what do I have to do here? Change y equal to 32 feet equal to negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 64. Copy this for part D, 23D. We're going to do this part together. All right, so let's do this. To solve any quadratic equation, which is this one, we need to set it equal to what? 0. So what do I need to do here for 32? Minus 32 minus 32. We end up with 0 equals to negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 32. Okay. Next, check for GCF. What's our GCF, everyone? Negative 16. We're left with t squared minus 3t minus 2, and all that equal to 0. All right, let's factor what's inside of the parentheses. Power Rangers, yeah? Negative 2 goes down, up here. The negative 3 down here. What are the factors of negative 2? 1 times 2. Can we add those to give us negative 3? If they were both negatives, but if this one's negative, that means one of them has to be negative, so it doesn't work. So no, since we cannot factor it, we're going to use everyone. Very good. The quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus parentheses plus minus square root parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses parentheses over 2 parentheses. So let's see. In here, what is b? Negative 3. What is a? 1. And what is c? Negative 2. Whoa. Let me simplify. X equals negative times a negative is positive 3 plus minus square root. Negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 2, that's positive 8. And all that over 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay. X equals 3 plus minus square root of 17 over 2. All right. So at this point, we write two equations, yeah? X sub 1, 3 plus square root of 17 over 2. X sub 2, which is 3 minus square root of 17 over 2. How do we find square root of 17? Well, we need to find the decimal, right? Equivalent. Square root of 17 is in between what two perfect squares? 16 and 25. Yes? So this is going to be approximately 4 point something. All right, good. We get 3 plus 4.1 over 2, which is 7.1 over 2. Therefore, my first root is approximately 7.1 divided by 2, that's what? 3.55 seconds. Okay, what about this one down here? This is 3 minus 4.1 over 2, which is negative 1.1 over 2. What do you guys notice? Well, we're going to get a negative, is that correct? Yeah. Can we count time with negatives? No. No, so we don't use this one. So what does this mean? Tell your neighbor, please. Okay, let's see if it makes sense. Let's go over the entire problem. Let's see. How long did it take the object to strike the ground? Let's see. To strike the ground, we said it took 4 seconds. How long did it take the object to hit a height or maximum height? 1.5 seconds. Let's look at our graph, the little graph that I made. All right, let's see. The object takes off from the platform and it reaches a maximum height of 100 after 1.5 seconds. Okay, that makes sense. So here's about 1.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds. It hits a maximum height of 100. The object hits the ground over here at 4 seconds, right here. You able to see that? Yes. But we just discovered that the rocket hits the height of 32 feet, which is here, right before it hits the ground, at how much? 3.55, which is about here. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does make sense according to the trajectory that we just saw. Okay. All right, and let's see how that looks. Look at that. Man, stamp that on the shirt, and then I just do like, bam, Q merch, there it is. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go to number, let's get this one.
No, I didn't talk about it.
Okay, number 24. Okay, we're going to do this one together. You don't have to copy the words for right now since you already have it on the study guide, but copy the diagram. I want you to sketch a right triangle, please. A right triangle. Right there. And you draw your right angle. And remember, I know you guys have been doing this already for the past 3 weeks, but this is just to continue creating muscle memory, right? All right, there's our right triangle. So as soon as you draw your right triangle, let me zoom into that. Here's my right angle. What do we call this side that's right across from the right angle? The hypotenuse. So right away, make sure you do something to distinguish that from the others. I'm going to do like a little squiggly line to remind me that this is the longest side. Okay? And of course, the other two are legs. So let's see what it says in the problem. It says, one leg of a right triangle is one more unit than the other. Okay, so question. Do we know what one of the other legs measures? No, so we're going to label it X. It can either be this one or this one. I'm going to label this bottom one X. Okay, that means that the other one is 1 unit more than that one. So what can we label this one? X plus 1. That is correct. But then it says the hypotenuse is 9 units more than the shorter leg. Which is the shorter leg? So we label the hypotenuse X plus 9. All right, and it says find the lengths of the 3 sides. So how do we find the missing length of a right triangle? We use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A, we're going to use x squared plus, what is b? This one, which is parentheses x plus 1 squared. And what is c? X plus 9 squared. All right. X plus 1 squared is the same as writing x plus 1 times x plus 1. Yes, Julie.
Should I use the restroom?
I don't know.
May I use the restroom?
Yes. Thank you. There you go, bro. All right. I'm going to bring this down, the plus and the x squared. I'm still not done with this side. When you distribute x times x times what? 1 times x, 1 times what? That should give us x squared plus 2x plus 1. I'm going to bring down the rest. Plus x squared. Am I done simplifying here?
No.
No. What is x squared plus x squared?
2x.
2x squared plus 2x plus 1. All right. Now I'm done with this side. Let me move on to the other side. How do I rewrite x plus 9 squared, Ryan? Okay, thank you. Distribute, 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 and we get x squared plus 9x plus 9x plus 81. And then combine like terms here. Yes, so we end up with x squared plus 18x plus 81. All right, now we need to solve this equation. Since we can't simplify any more of the sides, we need to get all terms to one side. Where do I start? Fatima, which is the smallest x squared? This one or the 2x squared? The x squared, so that means I subtract x squared to this side and to this side. And since I already started on this side getting rid of stuff, I'll get rid of the others. Negative 18x and negative 81. All these cancel and we're left with 0. Let's see, 2x squared minus 1x squared, x squared. 2x minus 18x, negative 16x. And 1 minus 81, that's negative 80. All right, let's solve. Power Rangers, yeah? Nice. Negative 80 and negative 16. Let's see, factors of 80. 1 times 80, 2 times 40, 4 times 20, 5 times 16, 8 times 10. Which one of those adds, subtract, give us 16? 4 and 20, and the 20 is our negative. Let's rewrite this, x squared. And instead of negative 16, we're going to write plus 4x minus 20x. And then the last term is negative 80. All that equals to 0. Group. GCF here is x, and we're left with x plus 4. GCF here is negative 20, and we're left with x plus 4. So my factors are x plus 4, x minus 20. All that equals to 0. All right, you done with ZPP? Yeah, you know me. X plus 4 equal to 0, and x minus 20 equal to 0. Let's solve. Minus 4 minus 4, x equals negative 4, plus 20 plus 20, x equals 20. Which one of these two are we using, guys? The positive, because distances or time are not counted in negatives. So what does that mean? That this side measures 20. This one is x plus 1, which is 20 plus 1, which is 21. And this one is what? 29. All right. So let's just write our statements. The short leg measures 20 units. The other leg measures 21 units. And the hypotenuse measures 29 units. 10 cubed. We good? Yeah. Go to number 25. 25. Okay, this one you have in your study guide. I'm not going to have you copy the graph, but I do want to elaborate on the graph. Let me zoom in. All right. Paul, can you get the lights, please, so we can see the graph? All right, look up, guys. Now look at the graph. All those graphs that they gave us. If you notice, there's only one parabola. Is that correct? What letter corresponds to that parabola? C. That means that the only quadratic equation corresponds to that one. So for Roman numeral 1, that should have been C. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? The second Roman numeral, what kind of equation is this? It's got a negative slope. Who notices that? Which means if you look at all these lines, look at all the lines in the graph, how many lines have a negative slope? Only one. Which letter is that? A. So of course that corresponds to that one. Piece of cake so far? Okay. Next, they want us to write equations for the remaining lines. So we're done with A. We're done with C. So we're just missing B, D, and E. So without looking at your notes, I'm going to zoom in. I want you to write me an equation for line B, line D, and line E. I'll give you some time. All right, let's see. Let me erase this scribble that I did here. Okay, I'm going to focus right now on B. Okay, there it is. You guys see it now. All right. So to write an equation, we always start with what? Y equals mx plus b. So what do we need? We need a slope and a y-intercept. The first one, the easiest one to look at is the y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis, everyone? Right here, which is at 1. So therefore, this is plus 1. Okay, we got that. How do we find the slope? We need 2 points on the line. Here's the first one that we already saw. I placed another one. There it is. How many steps does it take me to get from here to here? How many steps up? How many to the right? So 1 over 1 is 1 is 1. So I bring down the y, the equals, the x. So my equation is y equals 1x plus 1, or y equals x plus 1. Hands if you got that. Okay. Let's go to letter D. This one right here. And once again, I'm gonna start with y equals mx plus b. What is my y-intercept? 0. Okay. What is my slope? Does it have a slope? Since it doesn't go up or down, this is slope of 0. Therefore, what is 0 times x? And what is 0 plus 0? So my equation is y equals 0. That is D. Let's go to E. Again, y equals mx plus b. What is my y-intercept? Negative 7. So here's negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. Okay. What is my slope? Since it's flat, once again, it's 0 slope, yes? So what is 0 times x? And what is 0 minus 7? So my equation is y equals negative 7. We good? Okay, let me zoom out. So the equations that we got, we said were y equals x plus 1, y equals 0, and y equals negative 7. All right. Let's go to part C. Write a system of linear equations and solve it. What does that mean? You need to pick at least 2 lines that are what? Straight lines, linear equations, and solve it. Charlie, give me 2 equations. So she chose A, and she chose, what was this one?
B.
B, okay. All right. So we're going to solve this. Explain your process. Which process would you like to use to solve that one? Talk it over to your neighbors, please. Mel, which process? Elimination, okay. Who said elimination? Who said substitution? I'm going to say graphing.
I said
No, I said graphing. Oh, we both said, okay. So, I'm going to look at my 2 lines over here and just use a graph to solve it. You're like, what do you mean, Mr. Q? I don't have to do all the other work that I did? Well, no, because I'm using the graphing method. So what is the solution where both lines intersect? Where are they intersecting? Right there. So what is the x value? Negative 6. What is the y value? Negative 5. So my solution to this one is negative 6, negative 5. I used the graph. Thank you. Now, could you spend like 5 minutes doing the other processes? Yeah.
Thank you for being so smart, Mr. Q.
Thank you. Next, it says, write a system of equations using the quadratic equation and another equation. So let me get that one started. A quadratic equation, which was y equals x squared minus 6x minus 7. And give us another equation. Esmeralda, y equals 0. Whoa, she gives a hard one there. So y equals x squared minus 6x minus 7 and y equals 0. Explain your process on solving it. Which method would you like to use for this one, Fatima? Substitution. All right. So if we do substitution, we substitute, check this out. Instead of y here, what do I write? 0. So it would be 0 equals x squared minus 6x minus 7. Power Rangers, negative 6 times plus, this is 1, negative 7. You rewrite and find the factors, yeah? However, I'm going to use the graphing method. So I'm going to go to the graph and look at these 2 graphs, the parabola and when y equals 0. So where's that at? Let's see. Y equals 0 is right here. And the parabola. Where do both intersect? They intersect here and here. So what are my solutions? Who's got this solution? Jason. Negative 1, 0. And what is this one? 7, 0. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, my solutions are negative 1, 0, and 7, 0. And explain the process. I used the graph. 10Q. And of course, after you do all this work for a couple minutes, right, Fatima, then you're going to write, I used substitution method. Or whichever method you prefer.
Yes.
Yeah?
Put it away. Put everything away.
That was number 25. So we're just down to 2 more. I'll probably finish those in the next period and upload the video at the end. But tonight, I'll hold. Problem number 26. Copy this table, please. Yeah, I know you guys did all these. I know this. You've been doing this for 3 weeks. I'm saying let's do this one together again. Well, my bad. Almost 4 weeks. My bad. Cooper. Oh, and it's recording. Yeah, Cooper. I gave you guys the access to the YouTube channel before we went to Easter break. And since I first gave you access till right now, it's almost been 4 weeks because we're gonna have the final next week. That's why I wanted to give you the study guide a whole month ahead so you can practice, right? Thank you. All right. So it says on this column, female, male, and total. First column here it says dance 12.5, sports 8.7, movies blank 8, total 30 blank, and here where the total of that is 50. So what is this one called? Don't say it out loud. What is this table called?
A chart. One's a chart.
Helena. A frequency table. That is correct. It's a two-way frequency table. So let's finish filling this one out. Justin, are you doing work? I don't see you doing work. Oh my goodness. So, let's finish filling this out. So the total dance would be what? 17. How about sports? How about the total for movies? Yes, we do. We have 50 over here, and we have these two right here. 28. That is correct. Yeah, because you have these two, that's 32. Subtract from 50, that gives us what? 18. Very good. 18. Which means the movies it's 10, and therefore this is 20. Sure. All right. Focus, please. Now, on your home plate, when I picked this study guide out, some of you did not do this next part. It says, Cooper, what are you? No, they got it. They got it. Guys, look up. It says, fill out a two-way relative frequency table. Is this a two-way relative frequency table? No, this is a frequency table, which means we need to do another one just like it. Dance, sports, movies, total. All right. Female, male, total. All right, to fill in this relative frequency table, Helena, how do we fill in this spot? 12 over 50, that is correct. 12 over 50, and you find the decimal equivalent, yes? Which is 0.24. Yeah, that's why I'm going over this one, because some of you did not do that on your home plate. Because it says here, fill out a two relative frequency table. You guys somehow, I guess you forgot, or you didn't know what it was. Next. 5, oh my goodness. Next, male, 5 over 50, which is 0.10. What do we do with the total? Very good, 17 over 50, which is 0.34. Yeah, they should add up to that decimal. Continue filling it in. I'll wait for you guys. I'll give you some time. I'll pause this for a little bit. All right, Luker, give me the column of sports. How much is the female? What do I write? Very good. 8 over 50, which is 0.16, about for males. 7 over 50, which is 0.14, and the total, 15 over 50, which is 0.30. And so we got that. Okay, good. Next column, movies. Justin, female, which is and we got that. That is correct. Now, for those of you that haven't figured this out and you're doing the long division, so this is out of 50, right? If it was out of 100, that means it would be double the amount that we have. Look at 12. What is double that? Look at 5. What is double that? And so on and so forth. Yes? Therefore, let's look at the totals. 30 over 50 should be what? 0.60. 20 over 50 should be, and of course, 50 over 50 should be 1. Nice. All right, let's answer the questions. What % of teachers enjoy watching movies? Everyone. 36%. That is correct. The total's total. So you go to movies, the total 0.36, which is 36%. What percent of teachers who pick sports are female? 16%. Sports, female, that's 16. What percent of females chose dance? 24%. And the last one. What percent of teachers surveyed were male? We go to the total over here. Out of, it's 40%, so it's 0.40, so 40%. Check your study guide, see if you got that. Now, some of you, the only thing that you were missing was the relative frequency table. Don't forget about that one. All right? And let's go to number 27. 27. Copy this box plot, please. All right, when you get to this one, guys, first thing that I want you to do is label your two box plots. Find the minimum, maximum, and also Q1, 2, and 3, and label those. I'm going to start with a bookstore bookstore A. What is the minimum? 65, so we label that 65. What is Q1? It's about 70. Okay, that's Q1. What is Q2? 90. Q3, it's not 100. 99, okay. 100? Okay, 99. All right. And the maximum?
105.
Very good, 104. All right, let's go to bookstore B. What is the minimum? 63. That's the minimum. Well, how about Q1? 74. Q1. 87. Q2. 100 Q3, and maximum 110. All right? So, now that we have that, let's answer questions. It says, what percent of books cost $90 or more in bookstore A? Okay, let's look at bookstore A first. Let me zoom in. First of all, does everybody understand that at Q2, it splits the data in half? Is that correct? So that was our median. So that means this is half and this is half. Do you agree with that? So it says, question, what percent of books cost $90 or more in bookstore A? Let's see. What is a percent? 50, because it's above the Q2. 50% costs $90 or more. That is correct. 50%. Go to next question. What is the range of prices for the upper 50% of bookstore B? Okay, here's bookstore B. Yes. Throw it away, please. So here's bookstore B. Where does 50% start? At Q2 at 87. They're talking about the upper 50%. How do we find the range? Don't say it out loud. Look at it. How do we find the range of the upper 50%? Pedro. Ethan.
On the as to 1 and 2.
Nope. Yes. Subtract the largest from the smallest. That is correct. The upper half is all this. Subtract the largest from the smallest. That's what they're asking you to do here. Find the range of the upper 50%. So it's 110 minus 87. Therefore, 110 minus 87 is 23. So that's the average price range, 23 bucks. Or wait, let me see. What is the range of price? Oh, yeah, 23. All right, next. Would you expect mean of prices of book B to be higher or lower or the same as the median of prices of book A? So, bookstore A, the median is what? 90. Bookstore B, we need to find the mean. How do we find the mean for bookstore B? Elena. That is correct. Add them all and divide them by how many numbers do we have? 5. All right, so let's do that. 63 plus 74 plus 87 plus 100 plus 110. So we do 63 plus 74 plus what? 90, 100, and 110. Are those numbers correct? Oh, it's 87 instead of 90. Sorry. 87. All right, let's add this. We get 10, 14. I got 1. 15, 21, 22, 23. We got 2. 4. So this is 434 divided by 5. That is 8. Justin, Cooper, and Connor, I need you guys to stay behind today, and I need to talk to you guys. 8. That's 40. 3. 4. That's 6. 30. 4. Decimal. 8. So the mean for bookstore B is, how do we write mean? Chi, is that correct?
Yeah.
So this is 86.8. What was the median for bookstore A? What was the median? 90, Q2, so bookstore A was 90. So by looking at those two numbers, this is the median for bookstore A. What was the question? Which one has the higher, lower, or about the same as the other? So would you expect the mean of prices of bookstore B is what? This is bookstore B. Bookstore, you would write bookstore B is lower, 10Q. And the last question. Oh no, there's 2 more, my bad. What percentage of prices from bookstore A are at least 110? So let's go to bookstore A. What's the highest price on bookstore A? Okay, 104. So they're asking, what percentage of the books at bookstore A are $110? 0, because there is none. So you put 0%. And the last one. Is it more common for prices to be higher at bookstore A or bookstore B? Let me zoom. It would be A because they go all the way up to $110. I mean B, my bad, B. Bookstore B. So for tonight, not Fortnite, Get some rest, because tomorrow you take the state exam for language arts. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your home play. See you guys always. Bookstore.